One. What is happening, everybody? This is Cody, aka DFS Prodigy, talking about the NFL Showdown for Week One, Detroit versus KC. Before we begin, always a like button for me though. Definitely subscribe. We have a special guest on the show, Dustin Shelton. We're going to be talking about a lot of slates together. I'm excited about it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my man.
Hey guys, my name is Dustin. I've been playing DFS for the last 7 years, a couple GPP winners, and I saw D Prodigy on Twitter. I like the stuff, and I said, "Hey man, can I do some videos with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I would love to." So here we are.
Most definitely, man. It's been the highly anticipated game, Detroit versus KC. It's going to be interesting. Like we were talking about before, a lot of people are going to want to play the Chiefs, but it's going to be interesting with Detroit on what we can do with their players. But kicking it off with Detroit, we're going to go team by team, talking about the salaries. Um, Up top, though, we have St. Brown and Jerry Goff. What do you think of the combo of Jerry Goff and St. Brown?
One of my favorite combos in the league, man. You could tell St. Brown is his guy. He has the most trust in him. So whenever Goff's in trouble, he's looking for St. Brown. He's also a huge. He's a big yak guy. People don't know what yak means. Yards after catch. Like he'll get it, and he can make a 6 yard catch turn into a 14 yard catch, et cetera, et cetera. And and with this Chiefs pass defense, I mean they rank 20 against the pass. They're not exactly world beaters. St. Brown is definitely one of the guys that I do like on the slate. He has game breaking potential, and he's going to give a nightmare to Chiefs defenders.
Right. Like I said, I think the contrarian play would be instead of trying to go to Kelsey, you could go to St. Brown if you're trying to full stack the lines. Well, again, we're going
Mhm.
to have to somehow, some way. This is the week one. Everybody's going to be playing. A lot of casuals are going to be playing. I'm not
Yeah,
calling myself a pro, but I mean, a lot of people are going to be playing the slate. It's the first game of the NFL season. Um, but like I said, Jared Goff, I think he can be a way to be different. Also, 9-4 is not a bad price tag at all. I'm liking the ability to get to St. Brown, especially in the captain, if you want to go that route. Um, but running backs is what we're talking about. This is the where it can be different. David Montgomery and Gibbs. What do you think about these two players, man?
I, so David Montgomery was my favorite offseason signing in the league, and I'm not just saying that just because we're on this game. He really is. He played behind a not very good offensive line in Chicago, and he still wrecked some defenses. Now he gets to play behind one of the best offensive lines in the game, and also playing for Dan Campbell, who loves to run the football. So I believe Montgomery is going to get a lot of carries in this game.
I could see him getting the red zone shots over Gibbs. I
Yeah.
could Gibbs taking it down the field, doing all the work for 80 yards or so, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, we're at the goal line. Give it to Montgomery. I can see that happening. I can see him vulturing the touchdowns. We've seen this before. Um, I definitely like Montgomery because, like you were saying, he's contrarian also. But Gibbs, I still like him at A2. I think he's going to be a elite option in the reception end, for especially for receiving. They're already talking about him seeing some work. I mean, at 8-2, that's a way to be different also. It's going to be the Montgomery and Gibbs show. There's nobody else on this team that's a running back is going to see carries, in my opinion. I mean, they'll sign sort of a night, but again, we're not going to see them get carries. Um, but with the other receiver, with the long time no see, Marvin Jones Jr. back on the team. What do you think about him, man?
Marvin, I'll be bluntly honest with you, man. I'm not the biggest Marvin Jones fan. He makes the plays and then he disappears for a couple weeks. I'm not very big on inconsistency. It's a good reunion, coming back to Detroit where he spent a couple years. But this is a totally different offense, man. He's coming from a Doug Peterson offense last year in Jacksonville. It's totally different from Dan Campbell's. You could be different and go Marvin Jones, but like you said before, I think this is going to be the St. Brown, Gibbs, and Montgomery show. I think Gibbs is going to get a lot of the check down options as well. That when, because they're going to want to try to stop St. Brown. I think one of the reasons they got Gibbs is because they want a dependable pass catching back out of the backfield. So with that, I just don't see Marvin Jones getting a whole lot of run in this game. If you know what I'm saying? And he's an older player too. I think he's in his mid 30s.
It's like 33, yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
I
same age as me, but that's old now.
I think you could see the third down like roll sort of thing, where
Yeah,
if it's I want to say Brown's covered, double team at least, the Marvin Jones Jr. can take the third down roll. Um, I can see him being that dependable target, but like you said, he's very inconsistent. That we don't know
mm,
what to expect, especially at 6'2". kind of priced right in the middle where I can just pivot up to David Montgomery at 6'6". Uh,
Exactly.
I do like Laporta though. I really do like him. I think he's going to make an impact on this team. At 5,000, I don't mind taking a shot at him, especially like I said in the red zone. Um, it's going to be him and Goff looking for each other in the red zone. If
Mhm.
Montgomery sniped the TDs, I like him a
Yeah,
ton.
I do too. Funny last year when they traded Hockenson, I was like, "What are you doing? You're trading one of the best tight ends in the league." But somehow that offense didn't skip a beat, and I believe it was Brock Wright who was playing tight end for them was starting to put up some decent numbers for them. So you get a rookie coming in a very great spot, and I'm with you. Uh, Laporta could
For
get a
Iowa.
lot of targets in this game, man.
The
Especially
Iowa
they,
tight ends.
yeah, man. You got guys trying. They're gonna try to stop Gibbs and Montgomery and Brown, and I can see the middle being wide open for him.
I like him a ton at 5,000. Like I said, the Iowa makes great tight ends. We know that for a fact. Uh,
Yes.
he's already emerged to be one of the Goff's favorite targets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to skip over kickers for now in defense, but what do you think of Josh Reynolds as a downfield threat? He's a 2.8, maybe.
You could. Yeah, I could see him have like two or three catches in this game. But like I said, also inconsistency with Josh Reynolds too. I mean, I like Josh Reynolds a couple years ago, back when he was with the Rams. He was a sneaky little play man for like three or
Right.
four. He was with the Rams, but with this offense, like I think he knows what his role is. He's not really going to be a receiving threat. He's a decent run blocker. I think that's why Campbell likes him so much and keeps him on there. So it's a stab. I think the ceiling with Reynolds probably maybe 8 points, unless he gets in the end zone, which I don't see happening. He's got a really low ceiling of 0 and like the high 8. So that's like maybe a 3.5 times begs on your return.
I think when we play Josh Reynolds, like I said, the only way that he could hit value, at least, I mean, I know at 2.8 it's not a lot, but a hit value is if he gets a 40-yard bomb and
Yeah,
gets in the end zone. I mean, that's pretty much his role is when you least expect it, he's going to get you that long run for a TD. Um,
it's not out of the realm of
it can work at 2.8, but again, it's the first showdown slate. We're gonna learn a lot. That's also kind of the key point is we're gonna learn a lot. Week one's always interesting. We never really know what to expect. And then after week one, we kind of see, okay, this is what the offense is doing, this is what the defense is doing. We kind of have an idea. But like I said, this is week one's always a toss up. That's why I'm like, predictions, they can sometimes matter, but at the same time, we never know what to expect on a Thursday night football game, especially with Detroit and KC.
week one is the most exciting and the most stressful because
Right?
you don't know.
That's the problem. What I do know is I'm not playing Lions D. Are you playing Lions defense here versus
Now,
Patrick? Let's say.
I will say this: they're going to be a lot better from last year.
I,
I love Aiden Hutchinson. I like Campbell, the linebacker they drafted, and they pretty much rehauled that whole secondary with Gardner Johnson. I believe they got a corner from Pittsburgh. I can't remember his name at the top of my head, but and also they shipped out Akuda, a first round pick for these guys. So I think it's going to be a lot better. But for the slate, no thanks.
Alrighty, man. Going to the Chiefs.
All
Kelsey
right,
12,000 and 12-2. So
they're all right.
what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Uh, you could play both, but man, you're going to have to hit on. If you play both, you neither one of them will have to be your captain, in my opinion, because they're just too expensive.
Yeah, you have
So
six left over if you play both in the flex.
yeah, it is. It's tough, man. Like you can make it work, but it's just going to be. It's going to be so like you gonna have an average
Um,
of. You're going to have to get like a $200 guy to put in there to and make that one work to be competitive. Because I've tried doing that a bunch of times, front loading it. It can work if a guy like in the 200 range hits, maybe gets like 5 or 6 points, but it's hard, man. It's hard. But they are two of the best plays on the slate, man. It's Mahomes and Kelsey. It's the best connection in the NFL, in my opinion. My strategy, I'm gonna have to pick one. I just can't play both. Not saying you can. That's just mine. But I'm probably leaning towards Kelsey on this one.
I mean, that's the safest option on the slate, I think, is Kelsey.
Yep.
All means safe is safe.
Mhm.
Patrick Mahomes, we know he has the rushing ability. We all know this. We all know Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about him. We know he's one of the best players in the league. It's well worth it at 12-2. Like I said, I mean, it's one of the
Yeah.
best players. But if you're gonna fit at least, like I said, Kelsey and Mahomes, Kelsey at captain, that leaves you 4-9. You're gonna make some choices, like I said, with Jared Goff, with St. Brown, with Montgomery, with Gibbs.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to make a lot of options work. But the receivers is it's interesting.
One thing too, let's not forget,
Yeah,
Mahomes lost left tackle, so he's got a new guy on that blind side. Orlando Brown was a really great left tackle. Now he's gone. That worries me a little bit. That worries me about the Chiefs' offense a little bit. You lose a great left tackle, that's going to hurt your team.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. With Kelsey, like I said, safe option, 12,000. But the receivers, it's a crapshoot with the receivers. We all know this about the Chiefs. Tony's
Yeah.
good to go, allegedly. Again, I would take that with a grain of salt. We know Kadarius Tony's history with the holding injuries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not playing him at 7,000. I mean, he could be a leverage target like we were talking about before the show at 7,000. That's expensive to pay for
Mm-hmm.
him.
It
Really,
is. And when he's on, man, he is
he's on.
dynamic. But the thing is, though, like he's now the number one. He wasn't the number one last year. I would argue, well, granted, Kelsey's the number one. But when it comes to the receivers, I still don't think he's number one. Honestly, I think the number one receiver in that offense is Valdez Scanlon because he knows the offense better. Let's not forget, Tony came in at the halfway point of last year. He's probably now fully understand the offense now. Valdez Scantlin knows it better than he does. So if I would play MVS over Tony, 7,000 is way too much for my blood. I'm with you on that one, dude.
You playing MBS over Scott Moore?
Yeah, Scott Moore's got to prove it. I'm sorry, man. Scott Moore's got to prove it. I didn't see anything out of him last year that made me want to play him. He is going to take, I believe, the Mecole Hardman role, which is Mecole Hardman got a lot. They like to run reverses on this offense. I've seen him do it numerous times. They ran some with Tony last year. I believe, and I remember they ran 3 with Hardman, and Hardman got like 2 touchdowns against the 49ers defense. So I do believe he's that, but I've got to see Sky Moore do something before I even put him in a DraftKings lineup. So yeah, I would put MVS in there. He's the veteran. He knows the offense better than Tony. From those guys in that price range, I would lean MVS.
I don't mind Scott Moore. I think like in week one, we need to see how this targets are going to draw out.
Mhm.
We could be completely wrong. We could see MVS, like I said, like we were saying, see all the targets. Um,
Yeah,
Scott Moore bust on the scene and all of a sudden be the number one guy. I mean, not over Kelsey, but the number one receiver at least.
yeah.
Not playing Rasheed Rice. He still has a bunch to prove. But I actually just looked at my phone. Richie James is returning kicks and punts for this team now. So
That's interesting.
2,000. I mean,
I
it's a
mean,
crapshoot. It's a crapshoot.
now if you want to be sneaky, you can pair him with the Chiefs defense and get both. So if he managed to return a touchdown, because the Lions are not exactly world beaters on special teams, but now I know he's returning kicks. That could be an option you want to do if you're not exactly sure. You can pair Rice with the Chiefs defense, who's only 3,800.
You like Justin Ross, who made the team?
I love Justin Ross. Love him. Patrick Mahomes evidently loves him too. He missed the whole year last year, and you could tell Patrick Mahomes throughout this whole offseason speaks very glowing of him. And one thing that is very obvious when it comes to quarterbacks, if they like someone, they're going to feed them the ball. So I don't know how many snaps Ross is going to get because this is just going to be his first NFL game. But you got to believe Andy Reid's got some plays for him. I could see him having about 30 to 40 snaps.
I
And at
don't.
1K, I could take that gamble. I'd rather take a 1K Ross over a 4,800 Scott Moore because if Ross can give me 4, 5 points, I've already got a 4x return on my profit on my my buy-in.
You playing Justin Watson, or there's too many mouths to feed?
Mm, I believe it's too many mouths to feed. I would have to see someone get a late game scratch for me to consider Watson. I like Watson. He
Mm.
made some plays last year, but there's too many. You got the addition of Rice, Sky Moore going up in the offense, Tony, and like I said, Justin Ross coming back, Rice coming in. I just don't see Watson could probably. I don't think Watson's gonna see more than like 15 snaps. That's not enough for me.
So running backs. So we always know with the running backs, it's been all over the
Mm-hmm.
place. I'm loving Pacheco at 6'8". You can't. I love him against his line.
Uh-huh.
All the lines will be able to stop him. He proved his worth last year. I'm
Yeah,
all 6'8" for Pacheco.
I'm agreeing with you, man. Like I wasn't really looking at Pacheco until you said something to me, and
The lines, I don't trust the Lions line, defensive line at all.
I don't either. I don't either. I know I said they're gonna be better. I didn't like I said, they were ranked pretty low last year, so better is still not very good. So I do think Pacheco is gonna have his way with this Lions defense. And
I'm
like I said, you got so many you got so many receivers that are young and you, is there any receiver that you can look at and be like, yeah, he's solid? I
I'm
don't see,
when Tony's fully healthy.
and that's never.
That's exactly when Tony's fully healthy. Then I would say yeah. Um, are you playing CHS or CEH or McKinnon?
No, no. Two McKinnon. McKinnon's tough, man. McKinnon, like you talk about someone else that's inconsistent. You have a great game. Like last year, he had a great game against Denver, and then the next week, I think he had a decent game, and then you didn't hear nothing out of him for a couple weeks. I mean, I can pull it up right now. Like McKinnon, oh, you can pull it up. It's on your screen right now. Like McKinnon, like go to McKinnon's. It's like his stat line right there. I
I'm
remember he had, yeah, right there. He had that big game against Denver. Yeah, where's that game against Denver? Yeah, not that one. Oh man, he had a great game against Denver where he caught that pass from Mahomes.
I
Yeah,
think I think
yeah.
McKinnon's the receiving option. Um, at 5'6", he would be like I said, the receiving option. But we know Pacheco can also catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of just saying at 6'8", I'll take McKinnon. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
pulling Hilaire out. I'm not really wanting to play Clyde Edwards-Hilaire.
I'll be bluntly honest with you. I would not be shocked if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a game day scratch because they're going to have to.
Over Prince, or like he was already on the practice squad anyways. But
Yeah, I can see that because they're going to probably want to try to bring in someone. And Chris Jones, if they know Chris Jones is not going to be there for that game, which he's probably not, I can see them probably making a move for a DT and then because you only can dress so many people. So I can see CH being a scratch.
and
It
then
wouldn't shock me at all.
I forgot to mention also with the tight ends. Are you liking Noah Gray at all at 2'4"?
Uh, Not really. Fortson, if Fortson were healthy, but I know he's done for the year. If this was Fortson, I say yes because I remember Kelsey loves Fortson and he talks about plays, but Gray Gray's kind of like Watson, man. I don't see Gray being out there unless it's a run play. I don't. Maybe a fake and he gets a pass. I don't see Gray at 2,400. No way. Maybe at 200, I would think about it, but at that price, no way.
So in cash, or wait, kickers, I'm playing Bucker. If I had to pick a kicker, I'll play the KC kicker. Are
Yeah.
you kickers here?
I would play Bucker because I'm not sure about Patterson. I'm not. I like if I'm picking a kicker. I know someone. I want someone that I can depend on, someone I know that can do their job and not have to be worried about it. I can't say that for Patterson. I can for Bucker.
So in cash, I think Kelsey, your
Yeah,
captain. I would imagine.
Yeah, Kelsey's your captain, and people gonna put
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
I think
And
people. I think people will try to go to. I think Sky Moore and Cash would be an option.
yeah, I think Sky Moore. I think, like you said, I think you believe you said Amon Ra would probably be an option as well.
Gives you only 2-4. You go
Yeah,
to over
uh,
TJ James, so Justin Ross. I mean, if you don't go St. Brown, you could go.
probably Gibbs because everyone likes he's very hyped out of college. That
And then
leaves you with 34, and that
Justin
can get
Ross.
yeah. Yeah, I would say Ross, and that would leave you 5,800. That can get you McKinnon or MVS.
Like I said, like we were saying, I think in cash it's going to be the Chiefs. To be
Mm,
different. Uh,
yeah.
I know we played around with possibly Gibbs or Montgomery at captain for GBPs. If you
Mhm.
go Montgomery, and you can be contrarian to play Gibbs also. Um,
I like that player. I like that play too.
to have them two together.
Uh-huh.
Porta, Goff,
Man, that
potentially,
is.
and then
And then
Sam
you got
Brown.
what 10-7 left.
That leaves you 500 left over.
That's pretty good.
Montgomery gives
I
up
think
off St. Brown, then Pacheco as a run back.
that is. I like that. I highly. There's not going to be a whole lot of those.
For
In my
Lions. If you think the Lions onslaught, again, week one is always a toss up in the air. I think everybody's thinking Detroit, or I think everybody's thinking the Chiefs are going to run this game out. I think the Lions are better than we expect.
Yeah, I agree that because you remember a couple years ago when the Patriots won and they played Kansas City on opener night. Kansas City whooped them, and if you were playing then, we would have been laughed at a Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Alex Smith stat.
Right?
So like, it's not. I can definitely see that happening. Where I'm going personally, I don't know what your game plan is.
Mhm.
I'm going Montgomery, Kelsey, St. Brown, Ross, Pacheco, and Golf.
I like that. I like that. All right, man. You have any last closing thoughts before we get out of here, my man?
It's gonna be fun. This we're gonna have a good time this year, man. I am looking forward to this. I've been wanting to do this for a couple years now, but I have not found the right person I want to do it with, and I think I got my guy now.
Pretty fun,
And
man. Like I said, it's nice having hearing another topic. Like I said, your topics on the slate. It's nice to hear other people's thoughts on it. Like I said, I keep repeating this over and over and over again. Week one's always a toss up. It's going to be things are going to be different. Things are going to change. Uh,
yeah,
we, targets are going to change. Obviously, week one's going to tell us a lot. The game's on Thursday night. I can't wait. I'm counting down, man. But
I
thank you
can't.
for hopping on for sure, man. It's been fun.
It is. I can't wait.
All right, everybody. Like I said, you can find Dustin Shelton on Twitter. Like I said, I'll tag him in the video whenever I post it pretty soon. But everybody, thank you for tuning in. It was a great and safe rest of the day, everybody. Have a good one.